Welcome to Final Fantasy IV, using what the characters come with, or starting equipment kind of? In this run, I attempt to beat Final Fantasy IV with the equipment a party member comes with. As in, when a party member joins the group, I can use the equipment they have, and only that equipment. At certain points, party members will leave, and come back with completely different equipment on, sometimes for the better, and sometimes for the worse. So the rules are a little complicated this time. Rule 1 is I can equip and unequip any equipment I have, but any new equipment I find in chests or get handed to by an NPC, I'm not allowed to equip, unless it's an upgraded piece of equipment, i.e. I hand in a sword and get a better sword. Rule number 2 is if a party member comes back with new equipment, I can't equip the old gear. This includes if the equipment slots are now empty. For example, if they had a weapon and then they come back with no weapon, I can't re-equip the old weapon. Rule 3 is any action can be taken in the game. Rule 4 is the standard no over leveling unless I keep dying to the same boss over and over again. With that out of the way, our adventure begins with Cecil feeling bad for killing a load of unarmed people, and feels the king is going too far in his quest to collect the crystals. Cecil tells the king this, and is removed as captain of the Red Wings and now must deliver this bomb ring to the summoner's village. Kane tries to defend Cecil and now must go along as well. Rosa, Cecil's love interest, is worried as Cecil just got back from a dangerous mission and is now heading out again. Cecil is like, it's all good, I'm sure the king knows what he's doing. He did raise me and Kane as sons after all. So we make our way through the caves as our first real dungeon. No issue as we fight our first boss of the game, the Mist Dragon. This is to teach the player about ATB. While the party and enemy takes turns, you don't select the action for all your party members before your turn starts, so it's all happening in real time. This means the boss may do something like turn into mist where you can't hurt them. So when the dragon is a mist, don't attack. When the dragon is normal, attack. Kane has jump, which makes him jump into the air. That results him missing incoming damage, but will also miss any buffs or heal the party receives. On his next turn, he will come down doing a nice big attack. Cecil, being a Dark Knight, has a special move in Darkness that allows him to take some of his health to deal damage party-wide to the enemy. While this is okay for large groups of mobs, this move will get more risky as the game goes on. For now, Cecil will just use his regular attacks on the boss. We arrive at the village. Killing the dragon resulted in killing one of the summoners, and the bomb ring is a bomb?
No shit.
So the village gets blown up. In the aftermath, Cecil and Kane decide the king has gone too far on this one. We find this young girl who's rightly disturbed of the two men who came, killed her mom, and then blew up her village, so attacks them with Titan. Kane disappears and Cecil decides to take the young summoner to safety. We arrive at the village, head to an inn. While the girl rests, men from Cecil's kingdom, Baron, come in to kill the girl. We have a few back-to-back fights. If you leave the captain till last, they will run away. After seeing the man defend her, the girl introduces herself as Rydia. Now at this point, you're meant to find Rosa in the village, who came looking for Cecil. I don't, I head to the next area, only for Teller to send me away. So I go back to the village to find Rosa dying. So go back to where I found Teller, who is now like, oh yeah, you two will be perfect to help me get through this cave, rescue my daughter, and kill a spoony bard who kidnapped her. This is the start of maybe a Dark Knight is not the best, as the zombie enemies in this cave take very little damage from Cecil's attacks. Luckily, Teller and Rydia have access to both black and white magic, though I should mention if you're playing this, zombies are weak to fire. I also found a brand new set of armor for Cecil, but no equipping. At the end of this cave is the octopus fight. I had Rydia and Teller cast Thunder, and I started with Cecil casting Darkness thinking this was a multi-part boss, but it wasn't, so in the end I just used regular attacks with Cecil. Turn on auto battle, and watch the fight unfold. Leaving the caves, we see a kingdom under attack from Baron's army, and guess where Teller's daughter is? So before trying to rescue her, we loot the place. and by the time we reach her, she's pretty much dying. Edward, the spoony bard, is all like, I'm so sorry. Taylor is like, I'm going after Baron myself. So we lose a powerful mage for a spoony bard, but he has info on how to save Rosa, so restock on heals and enter this cave, which is a lot easier than the last. Antilion is guarding what we need, so Cecil does regular attacks, Rydia is on Blizzard, and finally Edward can just throw potions at the team. This boss does have a counter move, but the heals are more than enough. At the end of the fight, I used Choco Summon, which did over 100 damage. I should have just been casting that from the start. We return to Rosa, and she tells us of the new leader of the Red Wings, Golbez, who is super duper powerful. We best go to a nearby kingdom to warn them of the Baron's army and this super duper powerful Golbez person who is coming for their crystal. At night, Anna appears before Edward, telling him to man up. Another dungeon. This one is on the short side, but the boss more than makes up for it. Mum Bomb. We get the monk Yang joining our party for this one, so him and Cecil are on attack while Rydia casts black magic. Rosa is on attack and pray, which is a party-wide free heal spell that sometimes works, or goes unanswered, while Edward is just on healing duty. The fight is going well till the mom explodes into 6 bombs. I try to clear them as quickly as possible, but they start self-destructing, killing off Rosa and Edward, though the rest of the party is fine. We arrive at the castle warning the king, and as we do, Baron's army attacks, so we have 6 back-to-back battles without Rydia and Rosa, but we still have Edward that has a party-wide heal. Oh look, Kane is alive! Hi buddy, still want to stop the king? No, you switch sides? Well, hopefully this isn't a reoccurring thing. We get to see just how powerful Golbez is. With the party down, Golbez doesn't kill Cecil, just steals his girl. After recovering, we ask the king for a boat so we can rescue Rosa, and maybe put a stop to the king of Baron. The king gives us a boat and Yang tags along. All is going well till Leviathan shows up. Cecil is now alone and ends up in Mysidia. If you speak to any of the mages, they will put a status ailment on you. So head to the Elder of Mysidia, who tells you you cannot defeat evil with darkness. What this means is you get 2 new mages, the twins, Palom and Palom, who accompany you for the trials on Mount Ordeal. Get it? So before the boat, the king gives us the best sword for the Dark Knight, which is to help Cecil get to the mountain. I don't have it equipped as per the rules, so for certain encounters like ones with a zoo, I just gotta... One good thing is the 2 mages have a dual cast where they team up to cast powerful AoE spells. This is going to be helpful, as on the mountains, most of the enemies here are undead, so Cecil is completely useless against them. Though we bump into Tello, who wants to learn the Meteor spell. Nice. After burning through a number of healing items, we get introduced to one of the 4 Elemental Lords. This one is of Earth, Scaramingalong. I used Twins dual cast, Tello to cast fire on all the enemies since the boss came with backup. Cecil will attack the boss. Not too hard of a fight. Right after, I do some quick healing and change the row for the party. Scaramingalong's true form. It's the same chat as the first round, only Cecil and Tello are on heal duty, with Cecil occasionally throwing high potions at the boss that does around 500 damage. The boss regular attacks can cause poison when they land. If Cecil gets poisoned, I don't bother curing it. If it lands on the twins, then I do. Still, the boss is no match for the power of Twins dual cast. Now for one of my favorite moments in gaming. Teller also remembers all his old spells. That's nice. As we are leaving, I forget to heal everyone, and Cecil's levels gets reset to level 1, with only a legendary sword and cloth for armor. I get an encounter, so I decided to reload a save. Only to see the only available save is right before the second boss fight, with Scalamungalone. So, fight the boss again, only this time Cecil spams high potions at the boss, Teller casts Cure on the boss, and the twins spam dual cast on the boss. And in no time at all, the boss is down. Cecil becomes a paladin. It was at this point I check the armor situation and see what I'm dealing with. Cecil is only wearing clothes for his armor. I think in the PlayStation version, they gave him a basic set of armor, the same you can buy in Mysidia, but I guess in the original version, that didn't happen, so Cecil's gonna take a lot of damage in this run. On my way back, Cecil gains levels left and right. He can now damage the zombies with his sword and has access to very basic white magic, and his main gimmick cover will allow him to take damage for one party member. It's gonna be a lot of damage since all he has is some clothes on. The Mysidians now like me for overcoming the darkness. They conveniently have a secret path back to Baron's castle. Well, how convenient. I wonder who put that in. We arrive at Baron and meet Yang, who attacks us. Some big damage later, Yang rejoins the group. He was given a key for us to access another hidden passion, this time actually into the castle. Yeah, they saw a monk with a concussion and made him head of security. How is this army winning all of his battles? Oh yeah, Golbez. Inside the castle, Baugen, the king's advisor, the one at the beginning of the game who told the king you can't trust Cecil, but I left it out because it really wasn't that important, is like, I totally want to help you guys. The twins are like, your acting is worse than Tommy Wiseau.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
So we get a boss fight. Baugen will cast Reflect on himself when he gets hit by any magical spell, so I have the twins dual cast, then Teller and Param are on heal duty. I cast Berserk on Cecil and Yang so they can do more damage as they're just on attack duty anyway. Param will just attack until Reflect runs out, or when the boss respawns his arms, I can use magic to get rid of them using fire. The boss will only reflect the main part of his body. It's a slow but winnable fight. I loot the place, ready for the second elemental lord, Water. Kaganazo would be a tough fight, what with his tidal wave attacking hitting the whole party. But Teller now has access to Fundaga, so cast that twice for the win. He does charge his tidal wave attack, but if you cast Thunder when he does, it will stop the attack, so I use Palam to cast Thunder when he does. Everyone else kind of attacks, heals. It's really all about Teller in this fight. Sid, the guy who designed the airship, joins us, but the party is already full, and with the walls closing in, the twins decide to turn themselves into stone to stop the walls. Teller tries to Inshuna them, but they really want to stay as stone. I feel like they're doing this just to get out of studying with the Elder. The good news, we now have access to an airship. Kane turns up in his airship, telling Cecil to bring him the Earth Crystal in exchange for Rosa. So we head to a kingdom whose crystal was stolen, and Edward is in bed. We find the cave with the crystal, and all metal equipment will cause hold on a party member and slow your movement in the cave. So unequip Cecil's sword, Teller's iron amulet, and we good. Luckily Yang and Sid are fine with their weapons. We still got Teller's Arga spells to carry us through. We reach the boss, Dark Elf, where we lose. Don't worry, it's a scripted fight. Edward gets out of bed and plays a song to get on the nerves of the Dark Elf. This allows us to re-equip the sword and bangle. The sword does good damage against the boss, so Teller goes on heal duty, though he gets turned into a pig, so I have to quickly change him back. Cast Shell on everyone since the boss likes spamming magic. Sid and Yang help out where they can. The boss enters into its second form, but is even weaker to Cecil's sword in this form, so the strat is pretty much the same. Bye bye, Dark Elf. We retrieve the Earth Crystal. Teller and Edward have a heart-to-heart. Back on the airship, Kane is like, follow me to the Tower of Zot. The party is doing okay damage to the enemies in the tower, but the enemies are also doing okay damage to me. I have to keep an eye on my resources for the next few boss fights. The Magus sisters are up first. There are 3 of them. Cindy needs to go first as she can revive the others. So Yang, Sid, and Cecil focus on her first. Teller casts Shell on the party, as the sisters like casting magic and will cast Reflect on themselves. So in order for Teller to be able to hit them with his magic, I have him cast Reflect on the party member to bounce the spell off of them and onto one of the sisters at random. Thanks to this randomness, one of the sisters dies and Cindy brings them back. Eventually I do get a hit on Cindy, killing her, so it's now just time to deal with the remaining 2. I use high potions if anyone in the party gets low, but once Cindy is gone, the other 2 are really no problem. So heal up, hand over the crystal. Golbez is like, what's a Rosa? Teller goes nuts and casts Meteor, breaking Golbez's control over Kane. Golbez is still alive and once again, despite Cecil being down and out, refuses to kill him. Golbez runs off. Kane is like, Rosa's in the next room. We save her, but we lost to Teller in all this madness. But I guess we gain a Dragoon. Another Elemental Lord. Barbaecia boss fight. This is very repetitive fight. The boss goes into a tornado form, which reduces the damage they take. I think they hit harder in this form. You have to use Kane's jump command to take her out of this form so you can do decent damage to her. That's half of the gimmick. The other half is every time they enter the tornado form, they cast Tornado, which leaves a party member on critical HP. Not bad, just use Cure or High Potion. The real kicker is, they will also cast Ray, which slowly turns someone into stone. The plan is every time the boss goes Tornado form, one person uses a High Potion, unless it's Rosa or Cecil, then they just cast Cure, while the next party member uses Golden Needle. Rosa is on pure heal duty while taking care of any stone or down party member, so a lot of praying and a lot of prayers going unanswered. When we get Rosa back, all she has is a prison uniform, so she's pretty much a healer now. Kane is just there to jump while the boys are on heal and attack when the boss is not in tornado form. It's a slog of a fight, and I'm so glad I brought 30 golden needles as I burned through over 20 of them in this boss fight alone. It's very repetitive, slow, but doable. Kane tells us there is in fact another 4 crystal Golbez still needs to collect. The Dark Crystals, all located underground. So it's off to Mysidia to buy 99 high potions, tents, Phoenix Downs, and some cottages as the gang are... We head to a nearby town to throw a rock down its well, which causes a nearby mountain to blow up. We can now use the giant hole to enter the underground where we see Golbez's forces fighting the Dwarven army. We head to their kingdom and warn them that Golbez is after the crystal, and it turns out he's already gotten 2 of them. Our airship got damaged, so Sid goes to repair it while we enter the crystal chamber to fight dolls. Cala Cabrini fast fight starts out with 6 dolls. Killing 3 and damaging a 4th brings out the boss's true form. Luckily 3 of the dolls have super low health, and the first time I did this fight, I used Kane's jump, which was unnecessary as his regular attacks would have been enough to kill one of the low health dolls. When the boss true form shows, I have Kane go back on jump duty, but the fight did not go well. The boss cast Confusion. Luckily I did bring a number of remedies for this. The boss hits hard, doing over 800 damage to Cecil, so most of the fight it's me spamming Phoenix Downs. I do burn through a lot of healing items, but I do come out on top with 1 party member remaining. Golbez wants a piece of the action, and while this is technically scripted, you're meant to have Cecil still alive for this, otherwise it's game over. So, Cala Cabrini's second attempt, Rosa sets up protection for everyone, reducing the physical damage by a little bit, but also casts Blink as they make a party member with Blink dodge any physical attack. I believe Blink only lasts for 2 physical attacks, so I would have to recast it. This massively helps party members from dying, so I don't have to burn through as many Phoenix Downs as I did in my first attempt. Cecil and Kane are on DPS duty, and while Yang would join them, the boss decided to cast hold on him, so he was out for most of the fight. Unlike the first fight, partway through the boss does split into 6 dolls again, so defeat the 3 weakest, hit the 4th to get the boss back. This fight is a lot easier this time round, showing the power of Blink. With that, it's Golbez round 2. This time I have a full party, so he kills them off one by one till only Cecil remains, at which point Rydia shows up, saving Cecil. Now for the true fight. Revive everyone who got downed, Rydia casts Choco Kick, Kane jump, Cecil on heal/attack, though Golbez loves casting magic on Cecil, so he goes down at one point. Rosa on healing, and Yang on attack and healing if needed. Now with Golbez defeated, Rydia explains that Leviathan took her to the land of summons, where she went under a training arc to get even stronger. And since time flows differently, she's now older and has lost the ability to cast white magic, but has more summons and black magic. Turns out Golbez is not dead, again, and steals the crystal, again. So the plan is to steal them back. We enter the Tower of Babel. Thanks to Rydia's upgrade, the enemies here are manageable, except the Flans, as it takes 2 biles from Rydia to kill them all. Even with that slight annoyance, we do make it to the boss fight. Doctor, I was the first mad scientist in this series to take that Hojo, Lagage, and his robot, Barnabas. There is no reason to attack the Doctor, so focus on Barnabas, Rose on heal duty with Cecil. Once the robot dies, it fuses with the good Doctor to form Barnabas form. The strat does not change in this form, as the Doctor goes, "What does this button do?" which takes them out as well as Rosa. Well, luckily there's not another boss battle. Dr. Lagage shows Hojo how a Doctor should do a boss battle by transforming himself into a monster. The strat is the same, except the boss counters whoever hits him with a sleep, so Cecil this time is on pure healing duty. The boss will also cast party-wide poison, and I do not waste turns healing it or any other status ailment the Doctor inflicts on the team. Why? Well, after a few turns, the boss will cure all the status ailments on the party. Thanks. Cecil runs out of MP during the fight, so a quick ether gets him back to healing. The boss doesn't hit hard, and the poison tick damage is manageable. A few party members go down, so some Phoenix Downs to bring them back. Eventually, the Doctor will go down. So I beat the boss before he could cure everyone of poison, so I have to use a few antidotes after the fight. Unlock a door to stop some goblins shooting at the dwarves. The goblins are like, "Nah, we ain't going down so easily," so they blow up the controls. Yang decides he doesn't want to go home to his wife, so he kicks the party out of the room and seals the door tight, sacrificing himself. Now as we make our escape, the bridge collapses, but we are saved by Sid, who after hearing about Yang decides to do the same thing by jumping off the ship and sealing the underground world by exploding. Back in the overworld, we head to Baron for a ship upgrade. We can now carry our hovercraft around. With this new power, we raid Eban Castle, fighting some tough enemies. Then we enter this cave near the castle that is housing the refugees of Eban. Luckily for us, this cave also connects to the Tower of Babel. How convenient. Along the way, we meet the Prince of Eban, Edge, who, after getting his ass kicked by the last remaining Elemental Lord, joins the party. We make it back to the tower with the enemies in this new section still manageable. And while Edge is a lower level than everyone else, thanks to his equipment, he is doing around the same damage. We reach the top, only for Edge to fight his parents, who have been turned into monsters, thanks to Dr. Lagage. This is a scripted battle, so just hit auto and watch as Edge has to kill his parents. Now for the real boss battle. Heal up, only for the boss to heal me. Thanks, I wasted some potions on that. Rubicante is the Lord of Fire, but hits like a truck. When he's wrapped in his cape, he will absorb all ice elemental damage, but outside the cape, he takes massive damage from ice attacks, but will dish that damage back out with either a party-wide firer or a single target Inferno, which does over 2k damage. So the strat is Kayn is on Jump, Rydia on Blizzaria, Edge on Flood, the last two for when he is not in his cape form, and everyone else on heal duty since the boss hits so damn hard and counters every time a Blizzaria or Flood gets used. I burned through many Phoenix Downs as I had to prepare for the counter every time Rydia or Edge attacked. Though as the fight went on, he stopped countering. Turns out revenge is a dish best served frosty and a little flooded. Finally, we have reached the crystals. Now to take them back. It's a trap! We are now several floors down. Okay, well let's just leave then. Steal this airship and call it the Falcon, as we are now back in the underworld. We head back to the Dwarf Kingdom. The king asks us if we got the crystals. No, and Golbez is close to the last one, so the king asks us to go get it. Sure thing, what could possibly go wrong? Right, Kayn? Also, somehow Sid's alive and he's upgraded the Falcon to be able to fly over lava. With this, we can now explore more of the underworld. So let's head to this random cave. I enter the Summoner's Cave, where this time I do cast Float to get over the lava tiles and take no damage. Before long, I'm finally in the Land of Summons. I restock ready for a couple of boss fights. Talk to the Queen of Summons, who will give us her power only if we beat her in... Ashura is a gimmick fight. She will only attack you if you attack her. Apart from Rydia, she seems to leave her alone. So going all in and attacking means you're going to get wrecked fast, which is what I did at the start of the fight. After learning my lesson fast, I had Kayn use Jump and Rydia summon Titan, and everyone else would just use Phoenix Down since the boss pretty much will one-shot a party member, except for when Rydia needed MP to top up. Not a bad fight, but I started to use a lot of ethers. Maybe this will bite me later. Go into an inn for healing, restock on some items for Leviathan, who is possibly the nicest Leviathan in all of the Final Fantasy games. Sure, he did cause our party to get separated after the bow incident, but thanks to that, Cecil became a paladin, Yang got a key, and Rydia became the best DPS in our party. The boss fight. Leviathan will occasionally cast Tidal Wave that does 400 damage to each party member, so Cecil and Rosa are on heals. Kayn jumps, Rydia will cast Bio, and Edgar will attack if the party is healthy, otherwise he's also on healing duty, as the boss will cast Blizzaria a lot, and unlike Ashura, the boss does not mind hitting Rydia. Rydia MP does seem a little low for the amount of spells I need to cast in this fight, and I do use a Dry Ether. It seems like a waste as the boss goes down shortly thereafter. With that, we get Leviathan summon, our most powerful attack for the time being. We get Ashura summon after her fight, which might be useful later on. Now with the power of these summons, we head to the dungeon with the powerful enemies. We reach the end and see a sleeping Yang. Huh. Does anyone die in this game? So we go to the sealed cave where the last crystal is. The enemies in here are a lot easier than the enemies we've just been dealing with, so let's talk about the mini boss battle with Trapdoor. Yeah, so the doors in this cave are all trapdoors that will target one party member and in a couple of turns insta-kill them. So have Kayn on Jump, Cecil and Edge on Attack, and Rydia Bio with Rosa praying. The first few doors, Rydia needs to cast 2 bios in order to kill the door. But since they give so much XP, after a short time it only took 1. Make it to the crystal with no issue, so let's just leave Demon Wall. The boss will slowly get closer to the party, and as it does, it will hit harder and harder. But for the most part, the damage is fine. Once it reaches the party, it will be a game over, so the battles kinda has a time limit to it. With that in mind, Kayn jumps, Cecil and Edge attack, Rydia summons Leviathan, and Rosa casts haste on everyone, then berserks Edge near the end. With this strat in place, it's only a matter of time. Since I can't just teleport out of the dungeon, I go around killing the remaining trapdoors that had empty rooms behind them. Then, to the shock of no one, as we leave, Kane betrays us. I'm not sure if this is mind control, or he can't decide what side he should be on. So now Golbez has all the crystals and now makes a path to the moon haunts you. We talk to the dwarves who tell us the legends of Mysidia. Cecil tells them that's an actual place he's been to, so we go back there. Sid once again upgrades the airships, so now we can do a few extra things. We head to this cave and give a guy a rat tail who gives us adamantite. We can take that to the underworld, but before that we pick up a frying pan from Yang's wife, then head to the underworld. We hand the adamantite and Cecil's sword to a blacksmith, then go to where Yang is, hit him with a frying pan. Now Yang doesn't join, but the monsters looking after him say Rydia can summon them for help. We go back to Yang's wife, hand her the frying pan, and she hands us a knife.
Do what must be done.
Mysidia time, where we summon a spaceship. Then go back to the underworld and get Cecil's sword back, the Excalibur, which is technically Cecil's weapon he came with when he became a paladin, so I'm counting it as an upgrade, not a new weapon. We ride the spaceship, which is called the Lunar Whale. On the moon, we find a crystal palace where we meet Uncle Foe, who exposition dumps. Aliens lost their homeworld, came to Earth, but saw the people weren't evolved enough, so they went to sleep on the moon. Except one of them was like, nah, I'm just gonna end all life. So Foe cast super sleep on them, but they were still able to reach and corrupt Golbez. Also, Foe's brother went to Earth and had 2 kids. And guess what? Yes, Cecil was one of those kids, which makes Cecil an alien.
What a twist!
Also, while on Earth, they built the Devil's Passage and set it up so Cecil could become a paladin. Foe joins us in stopping Golbez, but before we head back to Earth, we got one more summon to get. In this cave, we have to fight another mini-boss a couple of times, the Behemoth. Similar to the Asura fight, whenever you hit the boss, it hits back. Only the difference this time is the boss will just attack in between all the counterattacks. I have Rydia and Foe do the damage since they can do the most with Foe's Flare and Rydia Leviathan, with everyone else basically reviving and using an ether on Foe. Since there are 3 of these battles in the cave, in between each one I run out and use a cottage, but before long it's time for the main event. The God of Summons, Bahamut, who has 1 attack, Mega Flare. You can see a countdown starting from 5, and when it reaches 0, you gotta be ready for its move as it can do over 5k damage to each character. The solution? Have Foe and Rosa cast Reflect on everyone and just reflect the attack back onto Bahamut. I didn't get Reflect off on time on Edge, so I quick revive and a Reflect on him makes him ready for the next one. Then Cecil and Edge can attack, Rydia Leviathan, Rosa can pray, and finally Foe Flare. After a few minutes and a couple reflected Mega Flares, the God of Summon is now ours. It's time. We arrive back on Earth, but things are not looking good. Looks like someone summoned.
Megazord power on!
And this giant of Babel does a Frank.
I started blasting. Bang! Bang!
Luckily, the dwarves have somehow reached the surface and start blasting back. Look, Yang's with them. Then Sid shows up with a fleet of airships, one of them having the Mysidias on. And oh look, the twins are back. I guess the elders saw they were trying to skip the learning. We fly into the mech's mouth, and thanks to the power of Bahamut, I mega flare my way through the dungeon as it pretty much one-shots everything. Now for our final fight with the Elemental Lords, as somehow they have returned thanks to the true villain of the game, Zemus, somehow bringing them back. Sure. This time, however, they fight as one, which means you fight them back to back in one encounter. Sure. Though they do hit a lot harder than the first time you fight them, the strats are the same. The first one we spam fire spells, then for the second one we blast lightning at it. The third one stays in tornado form, but it's no match for flare and bio, and since the boss never cast tornado, it was fine. Finally, for the last of them, it's Blizzard, Cecil and Edgar on attack / healing duty, and Rosa is on pure healing duty. They do hit very hard, but thanks to their weaknesses, I can hit even harder. Heal back up as we have to fight a CPU, which I messed up the first time, so I had to restart. The CPU will cast Reflect on itself, so Rydia for the first time is useless in this fight. I should mention that I forgot that Mega Flare can ignore Reflect, but since it hits all enemies, it's not useful here. I could have her cast Reflect on a party member, but I want to use Rosa's Cure magic and not have it reflect on the boss. Speaking of the boss, it has 2 nodes in the fight, 1 defense and 1 attack. Similar to the Mega Sisters fight, the defense node has the power to bring back the CPU, so take it out first. Unlike the Mega Sisters fight, you don't want to take them all out. Leave the attack node alone, as if it's destroyed, the boss will start blasting a powerful attack which pretty much wipes the party out slowly. The attack node for the most part is pretty harmless. Just shoots a piercing beam which does around 300 damage to everyone. But Pho and Rosa can easily outheal the damage. I cast Haste on Cecil and Edge, as well as some defense buffs, spells, but I think the boss's attacks just ignore it. Oh well, I'll just chip away at the boss.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
With the CPU now destroyed, the giant stops attacking. Golbez is pissed, but Pho just tells Golbez to stop being evil and let Semus control you. Golbez is like, okay. And we get the bombshell that Cecil and Golbez are brothers.
Brothers!
Cecil's in shock. Golbez is like, I'm gonna go kill Semus now. Pho is like, for real, let's ditch these losers and go take out Zemus. Kame comes in with,
come with me if you want to live.
Apologizes for betraying the group. Again. No wonder your magic card calls you out. Cecil also wants to take on Zemus and make it a lads on tour, so kicks Rose and Rydia out. Yeah, kick off your best DPS and support. Typical Rivals player. The gang arrives on the moon, but Rose and Rydia hit on board, so they're coming anyway. You can't throw the match like this, Cecil. I am not D-ranking because of you. But before we take on the final dungeon, we go back to Earth. Dorian Castle, where we enter an underground throne, where the king, who I guess got controlled by Golbez, who was being controlled by Zemus, has now become a summon. Sure, why not? And like the other summons who are cool, we gotta fight him. Odin is a timed fight where you gotta beat him before the boss uses Sanketsu, which is like Mega Flare and does over 5k damage to each party member. Or you could have Kane be in the air when this happens with the jump command, then continue to use jump before the boss costs a second one. Neat. Now with all the summons, I go back to the underworld, enter the land of summons to pick up some hidden items, then back to the moon. Head to the shop where the guy sells ethers, dry ethers, before heading into the final dungeon located behind Pho's chair. Oh look, all the crystals are here. Like many final dungeons in Final Fantasy games, there are a number of optional bosses we can fight, and the enemies in here are for the most part manageable thanks to Mega Flare. White Dragon will cast slow as a counter to every hit. Rydia summons Bahamut, Kane jumps, Cecil and Edge attack, and Rosa/Cecil on heals. I could cast haste to counter the slow, but I don't as I keep up with the healing and slow doesn't affect me too much. The bosses are guarding endgame weapons, which is cool, but I'm going to be using them for something else. Okay, next up is Dark Bahamut, who starts the fight with a Mega Flare. Okay, I don't think I can do this fight just yet, so... Plague Boss fight has got to be one of the easiest boss fights in a while. Okay, since Bahamut. He casts Doom, which means you have 10 seconds to kill it. He will cast Haste on your party and won't do any damage. So Kane jump, Cecil and Edge attack, Rydia Bahamut, and Rosa berserk Cecil and Edge so they can do more damage. Looks like I was your Doom Plague. We can fight the Lunasaur boss, who will cast Reflect on themselves and cast Bile off of it. But my reward for beating them is a ribbon, and I can't equip ribbons, so I skip them. Ogopogo likes Tidal Wave a lot and can hit hard, but that's par for the course now. So Kane jumps, Cecil and Edge attacks, Rydia Bahamut. The boss will counter Bahamut summon with Blaze, but Rosa spams her best heal spells, negating a lot of the damage. Not long till this Temu Leviathan goes down. We reach the final room where Golbez and Pho are fighting Zemus. With a double meteor, the boss goes down. Oh. We won. I mean, they won, so I guess cut to Salty. Thanks for watching. While the game was fun, it's kind of disappointing not being able to fight the final big bad of the game. Do you guys hear that? Sounds like boss music. Yes, Zemus returns. He has that much hate for some reason. Man really did not want to take a nap. He kicks Cobra's and foes' ass than ours. So everyone on Earth starts praying for us. Their prayers give us the party the strength for one last fight. We throw the crystal Golbez gave us just before the fight to reveal Zemus' true form. Then the boss spams Big Bang attack. I can't keep up with the damage. Rydia couldn't even get Bahamut cast off, and she got one shot by the first Big Bang. So after a few attempts, I level up some, try again, and the same thing over and over and over again. I'm now back at level 65, ready for the final fight. The plan was to summon Bahamut with Rydia, as I thought the boss does not counter summons, just black magic, that I read in a guide.
So that was a fucking lie.
As the boss counters with Bio. So remember Ashura, Queen of Summons? Yeah, Rydia's going to be casting them as they can cast a party-wide cure or protect, or nothing sometimes. Otherwise, Rydia's just going to be using items to heal the team to keep everyone alive. Kane, like always, is on jump command, but our boy Edge is now our main DPS. With the power of throw command, we can throw all the weapons I've stored. The knife we got from Yang's wife does 9,999 damage, the next best thing is the Fuma Shuriken, then everything else does around 2k damage. Not like I'm going to be needing any of these weapons after this fight. Cecil is on regular attacks and can be on cure duty, though as the fight went on I ran out of good weapons to throw. Cecil was now our main DPS. Finally, Rosa spams full life when needed and Kuraja the rest of the time. Thanks to the levels, I am now getting in more turns than the boss was. Big Bang is still a big problem, but I have time to recover. The boss now does use other moves like Meteor or Flare, which are single targets, so a Phoenix down plus an Elixir or 4 life gets that party member back. Eventually, Zemus, who is now Ceramos, is no more us. Golbez goes to bed with Foe. Kane trains on Mount Ordeal to think about all the betraying he has done. Rydia hangs out in the land of summons while Edge thinks about Rydia. Cecil and Rosa get married to become the Monarch of Baron, a real happy ending. Would be a shame if this were to happen all over again in the near future. So that was the Final Fantasy IV run, what they come with. Well, apart from a few final bosses, this is a very smooth run. Yes, you do burn through a lot of resources at times, but it wasn't until right at the end where I thought I had to really grind. And oh boy, was it a big grind. Well, if you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave a dislike and comment below what you want to see next, but we already have plans for that.